Hello, everyone. Today I have a great call. Excuse my casual gear. I'm at home still, but I have a great call today with a guy who moved here, is immigrating from Mexico. He still has some operations in Mexico, and we go over how he should set up his stuff in the US and really a lot of the benefits of operating with a US company, especially when you're coming from a country like Mexico where it's a little bit more complicated, to tell you the truth. Just getting paid, using your money, it's just so many more steps and rules and regulations. It's not send me money, I spend money, and that's how it works in the U.S. So I have a great call with this Enrique from Mexico. I think you're going to enjoy it. We push the whole timer on here, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you like it. But with further ado, let's get to this call.
Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up. Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up.
I really admire your really bilingual and multicultural approach for this.
Thanks. I'm still trying. Everything I do, I have to do twice. I have to do in English and Spanish. So I just did 2 calls in Spanish. So
Okay.
happy to do one in English, unless you prefer Spanish. It seems like you speak Spanish as well. Enrique Lopez.
That is correct. I do speak Spanish. That's my native language, but I'm working on my English. I used to be a speaker back in my country, so I need to practice a lot my English. So that's
Let's
good.
talk in English then, because I'm tired of Spanish for now. I need a break.
That's great. That's great. So nice. Thank you for this time. Let me give you a very, very brief story. My story. So I'm from Mexico. I am a consultant in organizational behavior. So my background is in psychology, philosophy, ethics. And then I moved to the US to work on my PhD in leadership to Chicago in 2015. So I came to the US with a F1 visa along with my family. So I have 5 kids. And
Good for you.
yeah.
You'll see my little on the side probably.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I think from a taxation perspective, it's relevant as well. So,
So
yeah.
where are you living now? You back in Mexico?
No, I am in Miami. So I moved to,
okay.
yeah. I actually live in North Broward in Parkland.
Okay.
And so before finishing the program, I actually graduated like 2 months ago. So
Congrats, doctor.
thank you. Yes,
Dr. Enrique.
Finally. After a few years, yeah. So this pandemic allowed me to stay at home and work on my dissertation, and that was good. Because before that, I used to go back and forth to Mexico and Argentina and Colombia and work there. Most of my work has to do with being there with clients, well, currently online, but in those times, traveling was really very important. So I started the company like a year ago here in the US. It's called Humanum Consulting Corporation. And the reason for that is that the attorney said that if I was going to start working with my OPT, the optional, training practices, it was relevant to be a corp, because if not, I think that I could not be an employee of my own company, something like that. So
do you have a work visa?
Now I do. Now I.
But before you didn't, right?
I'm sorry?
But before you didn't, when you opened the company?
No, I only had OPT.
Okay.
And I only worked for a month because I only asked for 3 months for the OPT. Now, well, actually, I do not have yet the visa. What I have now is the Advance for All, the EAD, and I have the Social Security number now. And however, I have not worked. I'm still living from my company back in Mexico. So until now, all my money, which I pay everything here, comes from my company. And so in Mexico, we have a SC, Sociedad Civil, which I think it's like an LLC, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a company founded back in 2002. So I have a few questions on that. Now that I have the Advance for All and the EAD, the Authorization for Employment, I want to know how to start. Like, so I have a few questions. The first thing is, can I or should I think about, when I give a consulting to my people back in Mexico, to my clients, could it be a good idea to, instead of doing the invoice from the Mexican company, doing it from the American company? Because I understand that there are some exports, different taxation. Is that
You're doing
correct?
services, right? You're doing.
Yes. Yes. Let me.
So I would say. So are you still paying taxes in Mexico?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Well, the company is there, and we
So
do.
even with the Sociedad Civil, you have to pay taxes in Mexico. It's not like a pass through.
Yes. Yes. So when I pass through, yeah, it comes like utilidades, you know. So
Well, if I you're not. So Mexico doesn't have worldwide taxation on its citizens, right? So as long as you don't live there, you wouldn't pay taxes there, right?
mm, not personally, but
Obviously, if you
I
have a
come.
corporation, it's a resident there, or a company. So I mean, Mexico has higher tax rates than here generally. So I would probably just receive everything here. That's seems pretty clear to me. You can avoid taxes and transfers and difficulties just getting paid in the U.S.
Okay.
It's going to be cheaper to receive the money, cheaper to keep the money, and it's going to be faster, generally easier for most people.
Okay. Okay. So instead of yeah, so instead of charging my clients in Mexico, I charge them directly from here, and they do pay from Mexico to here like an international wire, and
They can
that's all.
send a wire, they can use a credit card, you can just accept a credit card. Like
Okay.
you don't, that's easier generally for most people. A credit card, a debit card, a wire, an ACH, and then you don't have to pay all those silly taxes in Mexico. Like, aren't there taxes when you just get paid from people? The bank just takes money, like a percentage, right?
Yep.
It's like,
Well, some not exactly like that, but yeah, they I do pay taxes there. So yeah.
yeah. So it seems like, I mean, I have a lot of clients in Mexico, and I understand the Mexican tax laws probably better than most countries except for Colombia. And if you're living here already, invoice here. I
Okay.
mean, that's what I do. I get paid from people in Mexico all the time. So it's not a problem for them to send me money.
And what about most of my clients are not like individual clients; they're corporate clients. So
Yeah.
uh, it's the same thing, right? Like
Yeah. I mean,
international wire,
if
and
they're
that's
corporate clients, I'm sure you're not their first person they paid in the United States,
definitely not. Yeah.
So it's not weird to them. Money comes and goes out of the United States. So when you have a company here, that's why I'm so busy, because so many people want to, you're already here. You have a social. It's pretty easy for you to do all this stuff. Now you have to report your Mexican company here, and you have to pay taxes here, and you have a whole different set of problems that most of the people I talk to have. Um, but you also have more opportunities. So you should definitely just operate out of your U.S. business and keep the Mexican one there in case people can't pay your U.S. business. Then you just have added flexibility, but you should make it like a point to just use the U.S. business.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I have more employees back in Mexico, so
So yeah, so you
um,
have to have enough to break even there and have them do all the work and stuff. Um, but otherwise, I mean, you're paying taxes here, and the tax rates are better here. Especially even though the rates aren't better here, it's so much easier to operate here. And you haven't really started with your U.S. business, right?
it
You
already started. Yeah.
It started, but I mean, you haven't like you're not like using it, right?
No. Correct. Correct.
So you'll see that it's so much easier. Like you don't need to send anything to the government. The bank doesn't ever take any money. Everything's faster, and then you only have to do one IRS report a year, basically, to just report your profits and pay your taxes. And with some planning, you can really use all of your expenses as long as you do it right, and lower your taxes by basically all of your life expenses, as long as it's organized right and everything. Can't like deduct all your groceries and stuff, but basically everything. And then the proof is on the proof. You only have to prove the stuff if they ask you, and they don't ask that often. So you can just do your best, put all the stuff out there and send it. Where in other countries, I know you have to have a lot more reporting, a lot more compliance, a lot more verification, and it just slows down everything. Here in the US, send an invoice, do the service. You send an invoice just so they can pay you, but you do the service. You don't need to send invoices or facturas or anything to anyone. It's very fast and very easy to operate.
Nice. Nice. And what do you think about this being a corp instead of an LLC? Does that make sense?
I mean, what are you expecting to, like, when you, let's say 2021, you're full speed ahead, full operations. What's like the top side your business would you expect it to do in terms of net income?
I
Like,
don't know,
like,
three, four hundred
okay,
thousand.
so no, an S corp would be better for you. So it's would much better. It's easier, and you can use the same company. You just do an S election, and as long as you're a resident of the United States, that's going to save you a lot of money. And I can do projections, and I can help you through some of that stuff through the planning. But the corporate effective rate is 21%, but then you have to pay yourself, and then you pay tax on what you receive. And then if you pay yourself dividends of the after-tax profit, you pay tax on that too. And that's generally, I recommend corporations for my clients who are making, and you have a big family too, so you're going to get all kinds of credits and deductions on your personal taxes. If you make 300,000 net income, like profit, you're going to end up paying 20, maybe 20%, and that's all the money in your pocket, good to go. You're going to be paying around 20% with 5 kids, and at that level, it's perfect level.
Okay. So
You might even
corp.
pay less than that. So yeah, I mean, you can use the same company, but you need to do, I'll just give you all the information here, a form 2553, and elect S corporation tax status. And that way, the results is, then it's not, the company doesn't ever pay taxes. All the results pass to you, and you pay taxes on everything.
Okay. Okay. So okay. So that means, I'm sorry, that it's a good idea to stay in the corp, right?
You can use the corp. Yes, you don't need a new company. You just need to make the S corp election.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think that we would have to work on that probably later on.
I can help you with everything, but since we're on the call and I'm doing the video, I think I'm recording it and everything. I'll just give you all of it and you can watch it again.
Yeah, nice, nice. All right. So I think that you answered many of my questions. Now, if I want to, oh yeah, you answered like 7 questions already. One more question. How do I pay myself? Like, okay, if the money gets into the company, then I need to be an employee of the company. How does that work?
So if you had, I'll just go through the different options or whatever. So if you had an LLC instead of a corporation, you can use the money however you want. It comes into the account, spend it on whatever you want right away. If you have a corporation, you have to be an employee. That's where companies get in a lot of trouble, is when there's commingling of funds when you have a corporation, because you can't just spend stuff on whatever and say it's a business expense when it was really, a boat trip for you and your kids. So, corporations like that. S corps are a blend of both. With an S corp, you're required to pay yourself a reasonable salary because of all the payroll tax savings permitted by an S corp. You have to have a reasonable salary for your job and your income, and that's its own discussion. If you make 300K and you have a couple of employees, remote or not, whatever, you pay yourself 75,000, and you're going to save a lot of money on payroll taxes. And that would be 75,000 of official salary. The rest of the money you can use how you want and distribute it, transfer it directly to your account, and just spend it. It's just a distribution. You're still going to pay tax on it at the end of the year, but you can use it however you want. The only requirement is a reasonable salary that goes through official payroll, so you pay some payroll taxes. Because the benefit of the S corp is that the distributions are free of payroll taxes, which is the 14% tax that you'd be paying when you run payroll from a corp or from an S corp, or from what an LLC wouldn't be. On an LLC profits, you pay payroll taxes on all the profits, and that's calculated on the Schedule SE on your personal tax return. But for an S corp, the distributions are free of payroll, and then on salary, both the company pays half of the payroll taxes, and then the individual pays half the payroll taxes. But since you own the company, you're paying the whole thing anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And so now that I have the EAD, the employment, the temporary permit to work until my green card comes and my work visa comes, it's a good idea to get into the payroll, right?
No, wait until you make some money. Wait until you make a little bit of extra money, and then you can do payroll. If you make 30 grand in your company, payroll is unnecessary to make enough money to have a reasonable compensation.
Okay.
So you don't
Okay.
need to run into that full speed ahead. And a lot of clients that I have, like yourselves and your small business owners, um, basically do all of their payroll in December. So what happens is they operate however they want during the year. We talk and we say, look, this is what I think reasonable comp is, and then you just pay all your payroll taxes at once. So you might have a big tax payment to pay at the end of the year, but then you weren't paying it all year and it's not late or anything. So that's what we do with a lot of clients. So you can even wait and then call me in September next year and say, hey, I did great. Let's do some tax planning to get this squared up, and we can do it then.
Okay. And meanwhile, if the money comes to the corp, I can use it directly, paying checks with the company's checks. How would,
For your own stuff.
yeah, how would that work? How
For
could I get
accounting, I mean, where do you bank?
a Chase?
Yeah, so go make a personal account at Chase and
I do
just,
have one. Yeah.
okay, so then just transfer between the accounts. I wouldn't pay personal stuff out of the corporate account. I would just transfer it to yourself and use your own money. It's an instant thing.
Okay. And then at the end of the year, I say, okay, this money is my payroll, and I did pay it throughout the time, or what would be the legal argument to take out that money? Yeah, I'm sorry, I have the paradigm back in my country that it's so complicated. So,
Yeah,
um,
I oversimplify things at times. There is definitely stuff you have to do, but um, so what I'm telling you is that if the company makes $300,000 or $500,000, that's profits that you have in your account. If you send all of that to your personal account, that's fine. It's not an expense in the books when you do your accounting, it's a distribution. And it's a tax-free distribution. That means that the company has 500,000, it has zero cash at the end of the year because you distributed everything. So the company is going to show a $500,000 profit, and that's going to go to your personal taxes, and then you have to personally pay tax on that amount. From the 500,000, you could say, look, or the 300,000, you say, look, a reasonable salary for what I did is $100,000. In December, you can say, look, I ran a payroll of $100,000. You're basically going to pay $14,000 of payroll taxes in December.
okay,
So
okay,
just try and do it before the end of the year, but everything else, you can kind of just focus on making money. You don't have to spend too much time worrying about this other stuff.
okay. What about what do I need to do in order to shift to a S-Corp?
A Form 2553, if it's within 90 days of opening the company, you can just fill the regular form. If it's not, you have to add some special wording in the form to request late entity relief. They'll generally give it to you if it's within 3 years of the
Okay,
effective date. So Form 2553.
okay, okay.
Only available because I think it's only available for residents of the U.S. You can't have non-resident members of an S corporation. It has to be only for U.S. persons.
Okay, so should I wait until I have
You're
the
already a tax resident if you live here.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
you're on OPT though?
Not now. Now I am on. So as I finished recently, my student visa went out on December today actually, and now I am in the process of doing the immigration process. So I have the advanced parole and the
What are you
permit.
doing? What visa process are you doing for?
The EB2 national interest waiver.
Awesome. You have a good firm that's doing that for you?
I'm sorry.
You have a good firm that's doing that for you. A good
Yes, yes, yes. That's a good firm in
great,
Michigan.
great. Okay, awesome. We have some attorneys we work with that get these approved all the time, and I have a lot of attorney clients who get these approved. So they're tricky and they're tough, but with the new administration, we're hoping that more get processed, and we're optimistic. They still have been getting processed in the Trump administration. So with Biden, we anticipate immigration to be a little friendlier.
Good, good. Yeah, but I think I have a good firm working with. So yeah.
It's all about the writing those facts and those cases and put it together. Why is it in the national interest to have Enrique live here?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was hard.
It's
The
they write when you see it's going to be to get accepted. Generally, it's a big packet, and they have to like do so much research and write these really crazy memos and stuff about like your impact on our economy and stuff. It's really fun.
yes, it is. That's a good wording for it.
Yeah. I'm not
So
doing it. You have to pay someone to do it for you, but
yeah.
I don't do that stuff. But we have attorneys that do it. So that's good. You'll be a tax resident, especially when that happens. Um, that's going to take a while, and you're going to be on the until that happens. What visa are you on? Tourist visa or something, or
No, I do have the advanced parole only.
the
So
advanced parole? So it's like a student visa still, right?
no, actually, it's like a limbo. So
Uh,
if I go out of the country now with the advanced parole, I can come back because this thing says that I am in the process of getting the
oh,
green
okay.
card.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not an immigration attorney. So I just want to make sure. So the reason I say is because when you have a student visa, you're not generally a tax resident of the U.S. So I don't know if you can have an S-Corp, but it says since you're on advanced parole, you have work authorization. Yeah, you should be able to open it, make an S-Corp starting the next year. If the
Okay.
company is already open, you still have to file a corporate return, but um, it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
And what about like my situation until now is that I haven't paid most of the taxes. I think that I have exemptions because I was a student. So what should I do now? Like worry about?
Well, as of the date you got off your student visa, we have to see if you became a tax resident by then. It's important because you have companies in Mexico, and your company out there, you would have to report if it's disregarded on 8858 on form 8858, and it's basically you would pick up the income in the U.S. and you can take a credit for taxes paid in Mexico. But it's complicated because you have to report everything, all your foreign companies, your worldwide income here, and because you live here and you work here, the IRS wants their piece. It's as you might get stuck. That's why another reason why you should definitely operate through a U.S. company and leave that company as break even as possible, because now you get into the realm of who has the right to tax who. Mexico is going to take their money. They say it's a Mexican company, but from the U.S. standpoint, it's a disregarded entity, and you live and work here, so it should be U.S. source income. So they're both fighting. I mean, I'm being dramatic, but both countries are fighting over who has the right to tax this income because it's not clear cut. It's not like real estate. It's services being delivered in both places. So in situations like this is when you're exposed to double taxation, and that's why you need some pre-immigration tax planning. I wrote the book on it. It should be out.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's you can see how that's would be confusing from the national standpoint of Mexico and the U.S. Both want to tax you, and it's not super clear to them who has the right. So they're both going to grab at it given the chance, and the chance is basically a requirement of you to file the forms and say that you earned it in Mexico even though you weren't there, and then take a credit in Mexico, because I don't know if you can take a credit in Mexico for taxes you paid here on that income.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna read your book definitely. So okay, I think I get it. So now until now what I do is that my company back in Mexico, they do a direct deposit to my US personal account, and that's how I have been living for the last 5 years. And that money is not uh, uh, there is no taxation on that, right? Because it's not a like an
You
like
were
a
a student. You were a student on a student visa, and you're paying taxes in
yes.
Mexico. So
Yeah,
you don't pay tax. You only pay tax on income you earn here, and you don't have the right to work here. So the
that is
student
correct.
visa is kind of the catch-all. How long were you on a student visa?
I got that for 5 years.
5 years is basically I think it's the limit of time you can do that. Like after you have a student visa for more than 5 years, the IRS is like, okay, enough, and then they start trying to tax you. I think it's 5 years. I don't know offhand, but it does end.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, and I got a student visa like May 2015, but I moved until May 2016 along with my family. So, okay, makes
Okay,
sense.
so a lot of stuff. It sounds like we should be talking again next year when you have to do your tax returns. I can definitely help you out with some of that stuff. And then
Yeah.
as your business keeps scaling, then we can do some tax planning later in the year next year.
Okay. So meanwhile, I should not get into the payroll. Okay. That I
Don't
mean
worry about
until
it. Do it later next year. Just
okay.
focus on getting paid.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So perfect. Thank you so much for this very direct responses, and hopefully we'll talk back in the next year. And that's
Yes,
in a month.
save my contact and reach out. I'm trying to get better at following up with people, but I do so many calls like this that I just hope to leave a good impression and people reach back out to me because I've been really bad at following up. But yeah, it was great to meet you, Enrique. Thank you for your time. I
Thank
think this
you.
was a Zoom call, so I can use this call, right?
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And best of luck to you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Hello, everyone. I think that call went really well. I think it was really nice to speak with Enrique and hear about some of his concerns and what he's doing, and that he's happy moving to the U.S. and happy to be here, and that his business is going well. There's a lot of tax things that we learned here, most of them from the U.S. perspective. So if you are a non-resident, this video will help you understand why you might want to move to the U.S., some of the ways you can move to the U.S., and how we do business in the U.S. But a lot of the tax stuff I talk about won't necessarily apply. If you're living in the U.S., most of the stuff still applies. So it's really good. This is a good video for everyone. Very clear. He's on the call with me, as you'll see. And yeah, it's a great call. So I think it went really well. And I'm getting confused between intro and outro, to be too candid on my post-call recording. So anyways, I hope you liked the call, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. It helps, and I want you to make sure you don't miss any of the future videos. And schedule a call with me in the description below if you want to talk to me yourself. I'm happy to give out some free information when I have the time. And I don't know, excuse my terrible outro in this video. I hope you guys have a great day.